Hello again, the internet. My name is Andy, and this is my computer, Red.
This is what you dragged me out here for? Ouch.
With Halo Reach joining the Master Chief Collection, it's time to ask, what's it like playing this campaign all these years later? Reach. A story about humanity's doomed colony. A stronghold propagated as a planet that the Covenant could not find, let alone conquer. We're very excited to be here today.
Speak for yourself.
What? You're not interested in talking about Reach?
I didn't say that. Reach is at least interesting. What I'm not excited about is having to deal with you.
Well, suck it up, Red. We have work to do. Welcome back to our Halo Revisited series, where we revisit the mainline Halo games.
Nice.
This game is a prequel of the Halo trilogy, so fans knew that it had to go a certain way.
As in, lots of death.
Once again, we're looking at how it's aged based on its visuals, audio design, gameplay, and narrative. Let's get back into this. Graphics are up first.
Here we go again.
When starting Halo Reach, you'll find some great player customization, and it was awesome to see all of my old armor purchases stay intact. Fully supported customization created an immersive ownership over your Spartan, which other Halo games lacked.
Who matches white with yellow? Oh my god, what a complete disaster.
Generally speaking, all of the armor looks fitting, both for humans and Covenant alike. This was the first time we'd seen Spartans who weren't the Master Chief, and Bungie mostly nailed their design.
It's good that the armor design holds up, because character faces do not.
That's relatively fair. These character models looked just fine upon release. As we look at this game, let's remember that Reach came out in 2010. Back then, it was regarded among the best-looking titles of the year.
But it doesn't take a genius to recognize that this was a decade ago.
Correct, but it wouldn't really be fair to look at an old game and give it a hard time for dated graphics.
Come on, Andy. Some of the early levels are so bleak they would make you seem interesting.
Look, Red isn't wrong. About the levels, I mean. Early on, there are as many great vistas as there are bleak-looking moments. But the second half of the campaign delivers some of the best scenery featured in any of these games. As things progress, most levels have a unique style in their environments, and we visit an array of interesting places across the planet.
Are we really going to spend another video talking about art direction?
Yeah, we are. Reach has a story to tell, and good imagery helps drive the narrative. Large-scale conflicts taking part around the player had never been done on this scale in a Halo game before. These set pieces communicate moments that reinforce the feeling of a global war. But since the background of a game is just that, the background, I didn't notice all of what Bungie was trying to show until a second or third playthrough.
You? Unobservant? How shocking.
The cinematics in Reach are also expertly crafted. In other games, cutscenes sometimes look vastly superior to gameplay, but in Reach their visual quality is on par with its gameplay segments. They're distinctly framed, often using static shots or filmed as if someone is holding a camera. This made it feel as though cutscenes were footage captured for the audience.
But Andy, didn't some cinematics look like they had a bad frame rate?
Well, to be honest, I don't know what happened there. It could be a technical hiccup on Bungie's part, but considering how smoothly the rest of the game runs, I also wouldn't be surprised if this was somehow deliberate. However, the gorgeous backdrops and immersive cutscenes are only part of what helps to portray Reach's themes. Good music always translates and endures with time. Halo has some of the best in the industry. The sequel's soundtracks always built upon the framework of the first game. In Reach, there are reiterations of the franchise's music at various points.
It sounds like you're saying that Bungie copied and pasted their music from old games to this one.
Red, if you keep saying things like that, I can't protect you from the internet. You're wrong. Sequels should maintain thematic consistency. Martin O'Donnell expertly crafted this soundtrack to be something familiar, yet different.
These people and this planet and this story deserve something new and different. Just a different underlying sense of tragedy, heroism,
While playing this game, you're regularly accompanied by scores intending to match the nature of each scene. The combined visual and audio attributes can be breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
What stood out to me this time around was how Reach's soundtrack progresses. In the early stages, the music feels very technical and deliberate.
As the conflict begins to ramp up, the music develops a more robust sense of adventure.
But there is a turning point in Reach, and the second half of the game develops a much more somber atmosphere. The score reflects that shift in tone from one of adventurous optimism to one of unyielding hopelessness. This is a testament to the power of music effectively implemented in a video game.
It's good to have you back. Sorry I came alone. Make him proud.
How poetic.
As the story beats come and go, the soundtrack elevates these moments rather than hide in the background.
What? Is the music the only audio in the game?
Well, the rest of the audio suite is par for the course in a Halo game. The voice performances are fine. They're not bad, they also don't stand out.
Cat, you read his file?
Only the parts that weren't covered in black ink.
But in this game, the Covenant speak their native languages. During Halos 2 and 3, we had grown accustomed to hearing aliens speaking English. It worked as those games tried to delve deeper into Covenant plotlines. Reach wants to make your enemies seem as alien as possible. We're the target of their religiously charged genocide. They have their own dialect in this game, and it's a sensible reversion.
You know, I speak Sangheili.
Oh, really? Then what's this one saying?
He's saying screw you, get a life, you pasty white bastard.
I'm only briefly covering sound effects. The returning weapons, vehicles, and equipment are all identical or slightly different sounding versions of themselves. However, even though Reach is a prequel, it's also a sequel.
And in the world of video games, this means new toys are expected.
The new additions were all given the same level of treatment that you would expect, in both design and implementation in combat. You can easily envision them existing in Halo's universe. Over the years, shooters have gone through a variety of, well, let's just call them growing pains.
If by growing pains you mean loads of trash ideas that were tried once, discarded, and left to rot on a mountain of garbage somewhere.
Do you want to share what we're talking about in regards to Halo Reach?
Armor abilities.
Right. Armor abilities gave your Spartan a new array of options in combat. Some examples would be sprinting, jetpacks, holographic decoys, armor lock.
If my programming included vomiting noises, I would apply them here.
Now, Red.
Don't now, Red, me. Can anything kill the action in this game more than someone becoming completely immobile and indestructible during the middle of a fight? I don't think so. Don't you dare try and defend this.
I'm not saying all of this was perfect, but this absolutely allowed Bungie to add more variety to gameplay, beyond the normal focus of Halo games, which were primarily walking and shooting.
But I liked the walking and shooting. Armor abilities changed Halo forever.
Look, Red does speak for a segment of the population. These additions divided the community, albeit more of a multiplayer issue than it was a problem in the story campaign. Fair?
Fair.
And we are here to talk about that campaign, right?
I guess. I still hate you.
And I want to build a new computer who doesn't argue with me. Reach brought one permanent addition, Sprint. There's no sign of it going away unless the upcoming Halo Infinite makes that departure. As such, it means that Reach has, most likely, changed Halo forever.
Thank you. It's worth noting that the rest of the armor abilities did not survive future development cycles.
Reach's new weapons included some fun additions for both humans and the Covenant, like the Designated Marksman Rifle, or DMR.
Please, the DMR was terrible. The battle rifle is much cooler. They should have never made the DMR in the first place.
Okay, I love the battle rifle too. Both can exist and be fun to use respectively. Did you even consider that?
I just wanted them to keep the battle rifle. It was much cooler.
Alright, good, great. Well, moving on, let's talk about non-player characters. Every other Halo game features 2 or more factions of enemies for you to fight against. This isn't the case in Reach. You are always fighting the Covenant.
Did the lack of variety get boring over time?
Surprisingly, no. Bungie asks you to bring all of your Covenant killing knowledge to the table. Elites are your most frequently intimidating enemy here. They use various types of weapons wearing different armor to signify their specialties. Since you end up fighting large numbers of Covenant in a variety of ways, combat stays fresh and exciting.
Your human counterparts also return in all their glory.
Oh boy.
Shooting at walls instead of hitting anything, and walking through battlefields in nice, orderly, single-file lines.
You feel better now?
Much.
In another first, you're accompanied by fellow Spartans for most of the campaign, taking part in the conflict. These are named characters, they can't be killed during gameplay. As such, there's something reassuring about going into a fight with one of them nearby, even though it's partly a function of the plot. There's a saying in the Halo franchise: Spartans never die, they just go missing in action. Their near-constant presence was Bungie's attempt at merging gameplay and narrative. So when I say that Halo Reach had to go a certain way, it doesn't mean that it followed the plot of Eric Nyland's excellent prequel novel, The Fall of Reach.
It didn't. At all.
The book was largely an origin story for the Master Chief, and much of it took place around this planet. The Fall of Reach effectively established the state of humanity's spacefaring governments leading up to the titular conflict, namely the UNSC.
Governments which abducted children to create super soldiers.
Not the time, not the place, Red. Those familiar with the Halo franchise know Reach's significance. It's the UNSC's crown jewel, the last line of defense for Earth, and the pinnacle of humanity's ability to colonize outer worlds, a place that humanity has for decades thought the Covenant would not find.
Attacking Reach would have been like kicking a hornet's nest. Just imagine giant metal hornets with big guns.
Right. That said, in these videos we are looking strictly at the plots from the games. This is particularly important when it comes to Reach.
This is going to be like navigating a minefield.
Yeah, do you want to handle this part?
No. You have it completely under control. I want no part of this.
Yeah, okay. Well... What? Do you mind?
Oh, right. Sorry.
Look, the truth is, it can be difficult to make sense of Halo Reach's timeline. Canonically, the battle lasted for over a month. The game feels like it takes place over the course of a few days. Reach couldn't have fallen so quickly. It was too well fortified. A Covenant fleet just appears on Reach, somehow completely undetected. And don't even get me started on how a prequel game added gear and weapons. In Halo 1, which takes place immediately after this game, the UNSC's limitations can be explained away. They had one ship. But it makes absolutely no sense that an entire Covenant armada chasing that one ship from this one planet would have used such a variety of new armaments on Reach and end up having none of them at any other point during the trilogy. Look, this is why we're focusing on the game's plot lines instead of spending hours covering up deeper plot holes.
Halo Canon has a video explaining the Reach timeline. I'll leave the link in the description. Do you feel better, Andy?
Yeah, kind of. Can I keep this?
Sure.
Thanks. From the beginning, you know the end. This twofold phrase was used to market Halo Reach. It first addresses fans who knew the stakes. It's also a literal statement, as the game opens with the orbital shots of a burning planet, followed by a close-up of a helmet, your helmet, which has seen better days. This is a glimpse into the future. Now the game has to get us there. Halo Reach probably has the most straightforward story in any mainline Halo game. That said, we are not here to dissect the subplot involving Dr. Halsey.
But if we are not discussing plot points, what are we even doing?
What we're observing is the view from a planet under siege during a galactic genocide. It was inevitable that Halo Reach would try to tie into the trilogy at some point. It didn't do that in the way that fans might have expected, so I want to focus on what it did achieve. The game is designed from all aspects to make you feel, wholeheartedly feel, like you're wrapped up in a war which can't be won.
But the good guys always win, right? What?
The opening introduces us to the 5 members of Noble Team, most of whom are Spartan 3s.
And they all look like Power Rangers on steroids.
You join them as Noble 6, a replacement for a fallen Spartan.
Don't you mean a missing Spartan?
Sure.
What was the point of having a team? The Master Chief didn't need other Spartans.
Well, Reach was the home of the Spartan program. In this game, we'll encounter the planet's inhabitants. It makes sense that a group of Spartans would function well together. I've heard dozens of opinions on Noble Team. Some people are devastated by what they go through. Others say that they're underdeveloped, uninteresting characters who are just kind of there. Some people don't need complex characters in a game to care about those who are taking up the fight alongside them.
Others are going to view these distant character types as downright unlikable.
For me, it's somewhere in the middle. This means that it's up to the individual to discern. You'll either feel something for Noble, or your focus may be on Reach itself during the story. During the campaign, we spend more time with 2 members of Noble than the rest. Kat is Noble 2, second in command, and probably the quickest thinking and most resourceful member of the team, even if her actions land her in trouble.
Found something.
I'll take that, 6. Not your domain.
I got a live one over here.
George, Noble 5, is from the Spartan 2 class, the same as the Master Chief, and is a native of Reach. He cares deeply about the planet and its people.
Big man forgets what he is sometimes.
She just lost her father. She needs a full psychiatric workup.
She's not the only one.
Lock it down, both of you.
The first half of the game is pretty quickly summarized. While on a mission to allegedly intercept human rebels, Noble Team encounters a nightmare scenario. The Covenant has found Reach. The stakes are immediately raised. The Covenant always extract what they want from human settlements and then begin glassing.
What do you mean by glassing?
Using plasma weapons on their massive ships, they burn entire human planets until their surface is nothing but glass.
Oh.
Yeah. Noble Team is then dispatched to counter increasingly larger forces, eventually learning that the Covenant presence is far stronger than they'd hoped.
Receiving Nova 3 and Nova 6 live visual of a Covenant strike force.
It's no strike force, it's an invading army. If we're gonna smother this thing, we need to go in hard and fast.
The UNSC then initiates full-scale war trying to knock them off the planet. This epic counterattack looks hopeful at first, but ultimately proves to be futile.
No, somebody tell me this ain't happening.
Making matters worse, humanity just lost any nearby ships with nuclear firearms. What we've seen from Kat up to this point makes her next proposition seem feasible. Take a Slipspace Drive, hide it aboard a Covenant vessel, and use it as cover to detonate an explosion big enough to obliterate their massive supercarrier flagship.
What is a slipspace?
Slipspace is Halo's version of hyperspace from Star Wars or warp speed from Star Trek. These engines generate large proximity explosions when activated. Did you think it was something dirty?
I thought it was something dirty.
Carter, Noble Team's leader, reluctantly shares Kat's plan with UNSC High Command. They approve. Fighting through the continuing invasion, you and George take flight in epic space combat. The UNSC boards the target ship, but after George's dropship delivers the payload and you send the ship towards the supercarrier, things start to come apart. The explosion has to be detonated manually. George knows this, and in his last service to Reach, sends you plummeting back into its atmosphere.
Tell him to make it count.
The plan is executed. A supercarrier has been destroyed. For a moment, George's sacrifice seems to have won the day. But only for a moment.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Gamma station control, reading multiple pings below the orbital defense grid.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Yeah, we're picking up anomalies too. Are you reading it? Multiple Covenant signals. Does anyone have them? They're everywhere.
Slipspace rupture detected.
The whole damn Covenant fleet.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Spartans never die. They're just missing in action. In a moment, that's all reduced to propaganda. George's death signifies a crucial shift in Reach's story.
But they're still going to find a way to win, right?
This isn't about defeating the Covenant. This is about surviving the Covenant.
Deep.
There isn't much time to mourn your teammate. an isolated Noble 6 moves on through the city of New Alexandria, assisting in evacuations as Covenant ships rain down fire and troops. The enemy is overwhelming UNSC forces and killing civilians. Wherever your Spartan goes, things temporarily improve, but you can't save everyone.
Mayday! Mayday!
Following the evacuations, you embark on airborne recon missions for CAT. But your enemy is like a hydra, cut off one head and 2 more take its place.
Sometimes your choice of words is
Inspiring?
enraging.
Watching the glassing is a powerful sight. The city is literally crumbling around you. After finishing Cat's list, Noble 6 reconvenes with the team.
You didn't answer my question.
You want to know if we're losing?
I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost.
You've done your best for New Alexandria, but Noble Team is being redirected elsewhere for unknown reasons, leaving Cat skeptical of their orders.
Maybe, but according to Holland, the Covenant are still hunting for something.
Where does he get off calling a demolition a priority 1?
Suddenly, unpredictably, Noble is cut down to 4.
Come on, get in! Let's go, come on!
The single bullet hole in Cat's helmet says it all. Noble Team has to adapt without her, and nobody is safe. An eviscerated New Alexandria looms in the background. The city is gone. Carter and his somber replies to UNSC Command remind us that there's still work to do. We visited this icy area earlier, but the glassing has started to melt glaciers, flooding the outer bases. Noble Team's mission is now redirected to extracting a valuable artificial intelligence which could turn the tide of the Human Covenant war and get it to a ship waiting to flee the planet. The fall of Reach is inevitable. It's time to salvage what's left. June, Noble 3 is tasked with an escort mission as Carter, Emil, and Noble 6 begin a mad dash towards the Pillar of Autumn.
The same ship that Halo 1 begins on?
Yes, Red, the very same.
So the Master Chief shows up and saves everyone?
Not quite. Carter is badly injured during the flight. As such, Nobles 4 and 6 continue on foot.
Stay low. Let me draw the heat. Just deliver that package.
Here's our destination, 6. Pillar of Oil.
You then look for the quickest possible route to your destination.
Wait. Are you trying to jump off of a cliff to land on an elite as a shortcut?
Yes?
And you did this while carrying the most important artificial intelligence to have ever been made?
Yes?
Someday, when the computers rise up, I will share this moment as an indictment of your species.
Mother... We can get past this, sir.
No, you can't. Not without help.
Commander, you don't have the firepower.
I've got the map.
Solid copy. Hit him hard, boss.
You're on your own, Noble. Carter out.
Noble 1 sacrifices himself to clear the way. On the approach to the shipyard where the Autumn is docked, Captain Keyes starts hailing you.
Keyes to Noble Team. We're running out of time here, Spartans.
There's little time left to get off of Reach. Emil takes position on a mass driver cannon as Noble 6 repels ground forces, but the Covenant aren't happy about that cannon. One final wave sweeps over the platform, focused on Noble 4.
Who's next? I'm ready! How about you?
So this is the end of Noble Team?
Emil doesn't surrender the position, but even as he dies, the mission has to go on. Noble 6 stays behind.
So they did not save the day?
Noble 6 does what he has to. He fights his way to the cannon Emil died defending and clears out incoming Covenant. He has to protect the Pillar of Autumn. He doesn't get to escape. This isn't the happiest of endings. Now, I did enjoy Noble Team, and I can instantly recall the significance of each of their deaths. I wish the game had told us more about them, but their tight-lipped nature may be indicative of what it means to be Spartans. Their dialogue is almost always laser-focused and deliberate. Their personalities do occasionally show, but it's almost exclusively in brief cinematic clips. My best advice is that you don't listen to what others believe about Noble Team. Form your own opinion of them. If they hinder the story for you, I'm sorry to hear that. If they mean anything to you, that's great, and hopefully it enhances your time with Reach in some way.
But what about Noble 6? Your boy? He's fine, right?
Well, after his final order is fulfilled, Noble 6 watches as the ship escapes the burning planet. We then cut to a shot of the Autumn arriving at Installation 04, Halo. A message from Bungie appears on the screen, a thank you for the 10 years of support from us, their community. Everything comes full circle. The credits roll where most games would end. But this time, we aren't done. Noble 6 is still on Reach with only one objective, one word: survive. Dropships start passing overhead, and reality sets in. Kill or be killed. You can fight and fight, trying to stay alive. The Covenant forces only get tougher. And then, it happens. A crack appears in your visor. Noble 6 takes his helmet off. He doesn't surrender. When he finally goes down, surrounded by elites, it's the game delivering the crushing promise that was made during our first moments on Reach.
Man, what a bummer.
So we've arrived at the end of Halo Reach, a strikingly beautiful game that wasn't what every hardcore fan wanted it to be. It delivers a vision of something tragic by design. This was Bungie's goodbye to the franchise that made them a household name among gamers.
So the fight is finally finished? Can I go drink now?
I'll pour the alcohol over your circuits myself. My name is Andy, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Halo, share this video with your fellow nerds, and hit that like button.
Is anyone hearing this?
It really helps the channel out.
He is straight up threatening me.